The Dogs, in association with the British Greyhound Racing Board.
Well, it's a happy new year from all the team at the Dogs. In last week's programme, we reviewed the year. A great year, of course, through the eyes of Spirit and Louis. This week, it's through the eyes of the wonder dog that is Barnfield On Air.
Barnfield Kennels is where Barnfield On Air's trainer Sam Poots lives. This deluxe kennel setup has been built in effectively the Irishman's back garden. An owner for a good few years before, what made him take the licence out himself?
For years I wanted to do it, but obviously I hadn't got the money. First of all, I hadn't got the time, like the commitment, as you know, is horrendous, like, you know. And as soon as that opportunity appeared, I done it, like, you know.
Any experience in training before?
None. Zero.
Scary?
No, not at all. I mean, what's the worst thing can happen? Is it? No, I wasn't worried about it. I mean, I'm no expert and don't claim to be, but you know, common sense is probably the biggest thing, isn't it?
And as your kennel expanded, obviously you got people in to help out.
Yeah, as soon as I got a licence, I had help, and then obviously Darren come along, approached him, and he agreed to come with me, which was great, you know, because I can just leave Darren to it. I mean, it's no secret. Everyone knows Darren trains the dogs. If I'm off work, if I'm not at work, I'll come down, I'll do them with him. I do them at night time, do the let out at night, and I do them on a Sunday, you know. And then Darren recommended that Graham come, you know, Graham Cole. So yeah, it's a good setup. I'm well happy with it, very happy.
You had a bit of a tumultuous time in dog racing over the last 2 or 3 years. You've moved around from place to place, but do you think you finally settled there?
Definitely, yeah. I think the day I leave here is probably the day I leave greyhound racing, I would have thought, because this is just impossible to improve on. This is as good as it gets for me personally, in my own mind. I'm not going to better this, not just facility-wise, but people-wise as well, you know. I work with people that I get on well with and people I respect and that, so I don't see any reason why I'd want to move personally.
Well, after the split with CHARLEY, you spent a little bit of time out of dog racing. Did you miss it?
I did, yeah, of course, because I got into greyhound racing because I love greyhounds, like everybody else. That's why you do it. So I naturally missed the greyhounds. So you appreciate it even more when you've been out of it for 6 or 7 months, and then when you get back into it, you do tend to appreciate it a bit more, so I consider myself very lucky.
That's the background of the men behind the greyhound who would become the fastest in the country, and his wonder dog status would become clear in the summer months.
But the year started at Wimbledon with the Juvenile Championship, and it was first blood to the Irish with Express Ego. Very impressive! Express Ego has won by 4.5 lengths. Champion trainer Charlie Lister unusually had his kennel stars out of the blocks early as he made a bold bid to hang on to his title.
They go around the third turn of 5. Droopy's Toby in front, but ZIGZAG Dutchman is closing rapidly now. There's a length between them as they come off the final bend. ZIGZAG Dutchman coming to join in. ZIGZAG Dutchman's going to get there. A win going away in the end by 2 lengths from 5. Droopy's Toby.
ZIGZAG Dutchman winning the Birmingham Cup. His brother ZIGZAG Dutchy tried to follow up in the Ladbrokes Arc.
They're off and racing out towards the first bend and trade away trap 4. 2 Riskies heading in towards the inside and leads up early from Vipar Totti around the outside and ZIGZAG Dutchy. A little bit of crowding there as they head down the far side and 2 Risky to the edge at the moment. Vipar Totti moves up into second briefly, but here comes 1 Legal Major. They come into the second last turn and it's 2 Risky still with the edge. They're crowding in behind. It's trap 5. ZIGZAG Dutchy now getting a clear run as they come up towards win line. 2 Risky with ZIGZAG Dutchy closing rapidly. It's too close to call. Zigzag Dutchie and Too Risky. I'm not sure which one got that one.
Mick Pusey's Too Risky in 4, winning the Arc. Zigzag Dutchie was instrumental in Charlie Lister winning the Trainers' Championship.
They go around the second last bend and it's Zigzag Dutchie. Some 4 lengths clear from 2 Coventry Bees. Then comes 1 Blonde Sheriff. They swing off the final bend and 4. Zigzag Dutchie goes on to score 2 Coventry Bees. And then came 1 Blonde Sheriff.
Another splendid night for Charlie with Zigzag Dutchie winning the all-important last leg.
What can I say, really? You know, it's well, everybody wants to win it, don't they, really, you know? But no, we're over the moon with him, like, so pleased.
It's a great competition for a great trainer, Charlie, if I may say so.
Thank you very much. Compliments.
Charlie Lister winning another Trainers' Championship meeting. And Charlie's year got better at Oxford in the PALL as BALLYMAC Charlie returned to the track from injury, fighting fit.
They come round the final bend and BALLYMAC Charlie for Charlie Lister, leading the way round off that final turn from Blonde Joey in second. Then comes Roswell Starship. BALLYMAC Charlie first, wins the William Hill PALL final.
BALLYMAC Charlie went on to win the Northern Flat Championship at Bellevue. Up to Shawfield and the Scottish Derby, a race that always has fond memories for Charlie Lister. In 2006 he won with Simon Wooders' Fear Me. Could the combination click again with Fear Haribo?
They're off, the racing on towards the first bend. Fear Haribo comes away running, great early pace from Groovy Stan as well. Fear Haribo's got the legs of him to go round in front. What a roar beside me as Fear Haribo kicks on. This is so sweet for Charlie Lister, surely. Groovy Stan is off in chase. There's 2 lengths between them. After these comes 3. Cargrove top. They spin off the final bend. It's Fear Haribo with a lead of a length over Groovy Stan, who's making a real race of it. Fear Haribo holds on from Groovy Stan. Running on well was Brewing Well Storm back in 3rd.
A new track record set by Fear Haribo when winning the Scottish Derby for Charlie Lister. There was no luck for Fear Haribo or Charlie in the English Derby due to injuries. And with the departure of his right-hand man, Chris Akers, there was a brief lull in the Lister winning machine. But they were back on track in the William Hill Northern Puppy Derby at Sunderland.
They come round the final bend and FARLOE Reason sticking to its task really well here. This will be 4 out of 4 for FARLOE Reason on the open race circuit. FARLOE Reason picks up the William Hill Northern Puppy Derby final in emphatic style.
FARLOE Reason, one of the many future stars that will race during 2008 for the master handler Charlie Lister.
Back at Barnfield Kennels, the Barnfield On Air story was just beginning. He'd come into the kennels at the turn of the year, but he did take time to settle.
You know, when he came over, he was very, very nervy dog, very excitable dog. You know, I remember even when you used to kennel him, you went to get him out, he was just gone mad, you know. And it took a while to get him, well, to the stage that he is now. He's more professional, you know. And that's probably where the inconsistency come from.
The Blue Square Derby at Wimbledon was now upon us, and the kennel hoped it hadn't come too soon.
Last year, going into the Derby, we were very confident. We really thought we had the Derby dog, like, you know. And I think we had, if we would have had a competition possibly before the Derby with him, you know, just to get him settled and get a bit of routine going with him. I think we would have had the Derby winner, but you know, we had to get the dew claw off, and then we couldn't gallop him, and then it was all a bit of a rush. But even saying that, we were still confident, very confident. We put our money down and it didn't happen, you know.
And the money looked well placed with what was to become a trademark bloodless victory in the first round.
Too clear again from Blondino. They're well clear of Lentonel. They come down the straight. Barnfield On Air, who's not raced since February. What a huge run back. Barnfield On Air beats Blondino, and Lentonel was back in 3rd.
The second round of the Derby, I was disappointed with him. That was only his second race for me. I didn't know an awful lot about him, really. I'd give him 4 trials and was impressed with his stunning pace. I knew he was a hell of a dog in the making. You could see the raw pace he had. And obviously after the first round of the Derby, I thought he'd only go one way, and that was forward. So when he did go out in the second round of the Derby, after missing his break, I was disappointed as much as Sam and obviously everybody else concerned, you know.
A long Derby campaign had evaded them, but it wouldn't be too long before a first major prize was landed by Barnfield On Air.
a commentator's nightmare in 2007 with 2 top 4 bend dogs with similar names. Barry Draper's BOHERNA On Air first came to our attention when he chased home kennel companion FARLOE Hurricane at the final of the SKYBET GYMCRACK Puppy Championship at Hall Green. He then went to Monmore to win the Ladbroke Gold Cup, beating Blue Riband winner ICEMAN VADER. This success was to be part of a 9-race winning spree, which included the final of the William Hill Steel City Cup at home track Sheffield.
And there they go, and racing up towards the first bend. A good start from BOHERNA On Air. Will lead round from 4 rev counter. After these comes ICEMAN Ross and FARLOE Hobbs. Is ahead down the far side, and BOHERNA On Air looks a real live wire. He's out in front here, leading by 2 lengths, but 4. Rev counter's trying to push him into the third bend, but gets chopped off there. 3 FARLOE Hobbs in behind as they come round the final bend. It's BOHERNA On Air from rev counters, run a huge race. After these come FARLOE Hobbs racing up towards winning line. It's BOHERNA On Air who win by a length.
BOHERNA On Air and FARLOE Hurricane have now both been rested. The Sheffield maestro Barry Draper has lots to look forward to this year.
After the break, the Barnfield On Air story continues at the Coral Sussex Cup.
Welcome back to the Dogs as we continue our review of the year with a look back at the principal hurdle races of 2007.
The lead with Black Magic Jamie. Tommy Bahama's trying to get past it somehow too. Sorrento Woods in behind, but it's Black Magic Jamie in front here by a length. Jumps the last. Will win the Springbok for Ernie Gaskin. Tommy Bahama was second.
Jamie Langley's Black Magic Jamie winning the feature novice hurdle race of the year. Now the Betfair Grand National at Wimbledon.
And they're off and running then for the Betfair.com Grand National, and over the first, and it's 6 Joe Cigar streaking up towards the first bend and will lead round it here from 5 Ardbeg Hurricane giving chase in second, then can 4 Strong Flow as they come up towards the third flight, and Joe Cigar with a 2-length lead at the moment over 5 Ardbeg Hurricane, who didn't jump that one at all well. So trap 6 Joe Cigar increases the lead to 4 lengths, just has to jump the last flight. Joe Cigar has dominated the Grand National, and what a winner!
Unbelievable. I've waited so many years to win it, and Ross Ranger was so robbed of this race, and now 5 years later this fella's done it. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable.
However, Joe Cigar was beaten to the punch by NEWLAWN BERTS in the champion hurdle.
NEWLAWN BERTS jumping well as a 4-length lead here over Executive Memo in second. Then comes 2 Kildare Lark. They come round the final turn, and NEWLAWN BERTS still a length and a half to the good over Executive Memo. Great pace, all-round winner, NEWLAWN BERTS.
Patsy Cusack's NEWLAWN BERTS winning the champion hurdle.
Barnfield On Air, meanwhile, had won heat and semi-final of the Sussex Cup at Hove. He'd looked unstoppable, his newfound maturity shining through, and he was in track record-breaking form in the final.
Away we go, and racing up towards the first bend, got a great start, bumps into Jazz Hurricane, but dominates. Searing pace up to the bend from Barnfield On Air, and goes round in front here by 2 lengths over 5. Fear Me in second, then comes 3. Jazz Hurricane in third, then comes 2. BALLYMAC Weeshi, but they're all dreaming here in behind Barnfield On Air, who's on a different cloud from the others here as they come round the final bend. What an emphatic performance from Barnfield On Air. Some 8 lengths clear up the home straight. Barnfield On Air, a worthy winner of this year's Sussex Cup.
He was breathtaking throughout the competition, especially in the final. I mean, I thought that was as good a run and as breathtaking a run as I've ever seen. To do it in a final, to break the track record and to win so emphatically was really impressive, you know, and a very proud moment as well.
But preparations went far from smoothly for his next race, the Betfred Select Stakes at Nottingham, and he couldn't hold a quite brilliant and so determined Cleaner's Lady. It was back-to-back Select Stakes for Terry Dartnell and Matt Dartnell's greyhound. But Barnfield On Air did get his revenge at Walthamstow, stamping his authority and leaving no one in doubt about his fastest dog in the country credentials, underlined with a track record on the Grand Prix undercard.
An emphatic performance from Barnfield On Air, wins easily from Cleaner's Lady in second.
More track records followed at Bellevue in the heats and semi-finals of the Betfred Laurels, but luck would desert him come the final.
I thought he ran a great race in the Laurels. I wouldn't criticise him for the way he ran in the Laurels. apart from not coming out as well as he can, he showed wicked pace to the first bend, and then he was just unlucky not to get round the first bend. The 5 dog seemed to come over to the rails. There was 5 rowlers in the race, and the 5 dog shot sharply to the rails at the first bend, and he kind of just ran into him. So that's greyhound racing, you know.
Would you prefer to be in 1 or 6 that night?
1.
So middle seed is not something you'll be doing again?
No, he'd probably stay as rails now. I mean, he's never really come out that well from track 1. I don't know why. He seems to come away well from 3 and 4, even track 2. But the 1 box has never seemed to bring out a sharp break from him. So, but I mean, he is a rouse to middle runner. So if you seeded him middle or wide and got drawn trap 6, I'd be frightened if he missed it from 6, even with his pace up. If he was in against other quick dogs to the corner, he could get himself in trouble, and he's far too valuable for that to happen.
Mixed fortunes and near misses at Nottingham and Bellevue, but there was better to come later in the year.
Some more notable training feats in 2007. A wonderful year for owner-trainer Lance Burford, with ICEMAN Ross winning the Coventry Summer Derby over 480 metres, ICEMAN VADER landing the blue ribbon at Hall Green.
It's ICEMAN VADER! The ICEMAN cometh to win the blue ribbon final!
And ICEMAN Brutus winning the ZIGZAG Puppy Championship at Coventry and the Ladbroke Gold Cup Stayers Final at Monmore. Elaine Parker landed some valuable prizes, with Mayor's Boy winning the inaugural £40,000 William Hill Classic at Sunderland.
Mayor's Boy giving more breathing space then from Groovy Stan back in second. After this comes Astronomic, but Groovy Stan's coming. Oh, he's had a look!
The old boy, Mayor's Boy, doing what he does best, making all at Sunderland. The kennel were also on the mark, with Right Signal winning the All England Cup at Newcastle.
And it's Right Signal here, out wide, will make all, pinged out for Elaine Parker. Right Signal wins the All England Cup.
Right Signal went on to win the St Mungo Cup at Shawfield. Jim Reynolds delighted to be talking about his greyhounds rather than the politics of the sport. Horseshoe Ping was the kennel star in 2007, as he showed when winning the Betfair Scurry.
Away we go, racing up towards the first bend. Where's your man? Out well with 1. That's Freight Train trying to rush through them. It's 3, Pineapple Jean. We could be in for an upset. Here comes 5, Horseshoe Ping. There's trouble out back. Horseshoe Ping's managed to get in front though. Horseshoe Ping now goes on from 1. Freight Train racing up towards Winline. Horseshoe Ping draws away for a 2-length success. Over 1 in second place. Freight Train. Ladywell Trick was third.
Horseshoe Ping went on to land the Guys and Doyles at Crayford and finished the year on a high with victory in the Classic Shield at Romford.
Out in front and leading them up the home straight and will win in style. Horseshoe Ping wins.
Bernie Doyle has high hopes for a profitable 2008 with Opening Artist, who won the Puppy Derby at Wimbledon.
To head down towards the second last bend, it's BALLYMAC Raymond still leading here by 2.5 lengths over 2. Fitzroy Sydney holding up the others 3. P-Ball and 4. Opening Artist, they come off the final bend. Opening Artist is finishing strongly with P-Ball, has gone to a photo.
Opening Artist winning a big prize for trainer Bernie Doyle. New handler Chris Alsop made his mark on the open race scene with Rev Counter, runner-up in the Steel City Cup. His big win of the year was in the Betfred Eclipse at Nottingham over 500 metres. And away they go, racing up towards the first bend. Great start from Rev Counter through the centre, leads up early from 2 nicks, pacing up well as Centaur Decree. Slightly crowded there was a Fleck Elite in 4, then after this comes ICEMAN VADER, and right at the back is KG Luke, who missed its break as they head down the far side. Rev Counter leads at halfway, showing in front at the moment from Centaur Decree racing in second. 2 nicks is trying to make some progress on the inside, but slightly held up as they come round the final bend. Rev Counter in front, leading by 1.5 lengths, but closing 2 nicks. Here comes the wire. Rev Counter all out wins. It's been a marvellous year for John Mullins, which was capped by Blonde Genie winning the final classic of the year.
Away we go, and racing up towards the first bend, and Blonde Genie got a good start along with Dawn Krantz. Beaten to the first bend is Broadway Sizzler. There's trouble also for 6 Jazz Hurricane Dilemma Slights trying to find a way through, but Blonde Genie's got first one on all of them. She leads here by 2.5 lengths over Broadway Sizzler. After these comes 3 Dawn Krantz, but they come round the final bend. It's been a terrific year for John Mullins in 2007, and it's going to be capped now by the success of Blonde Genie, who wins the William Hill Oaks final.
Barnfield On Air had now firmly established himself as the fastest thing on 4 legs over 4 bends in the greyhound world. But had it been difficult to find races and opposition for him?
I'm not so sure if it frightened people off or not. I mean, he obviously generated a lot of respect for the way he was running, the way he was performing and the times he was clocking. I don't think people particularly wanted to run their dogs against him because he's probably one of the fastest dogs this country's seen in many, many years.
And Darren's words were underlined emphatically at Coventry. A track record in the second round of the Blue Square 480 Cup at the Brandon venue and facile win in the semi-finals saw him line up a 1-3 chance in the final.
There they go, and racing up towards the first bend, and Barnfield On Air is cracked out with Fear Haribo. After this comes One Larkill Jim, and Barnfield On Air leads at the first bend by 2 lengths. They go down the far side, Fear Haribo, then comes Toosie Blue. As they go down the back straight, and it's still Barnfield On Air with this 2-length lead over Trap 4 in second, Toosie Blue, then comes Fear Haribo. They come round the third bend, and Barnfield On Air, still with this 2.5-length lead, comes up the home straight. It's been a pure, exciting run again from Barnfield On Air. Wins the first running then of the Blue Square 480 Cup final, beating Fear Haribo.
Another big prize in the bag and £22,000 in prize money tucked away. Coventry will be followed by a season-closing send-off at Walthamstow in the VC Bet Invitation at the Racing Post Festival. Now we've the prospect of a 2008 campaign centering on the 3 derbies. And folks, there is a price for the treble out there.
People feel lucky, then I suppose they can go for the treble, but winning 1 derby would be very, very hard. But at the same time, if we could win 1 derby with him, it'd just top everything off, really. What a great dog he is.
Ambition? Yeah, to win the Irish Derby, Clive, you know. That's the one for me, like. Yeah, obviously, you know, if the English, the Scottish would be great, you know. But, you know, I'm Irish and I want to win the Irish Derby, like, you know.
Of course, one burning question remains as we close the door on 2007 and look ahead. Just who will be Greyhound of the Year? Should it be Spirit and Louis or Barnfield On Air? Not surprisingly, Sam Poots favours the last named.
Spirit and Louis is he's a super dog, you know, and you would love to own him. I would certainly love to own him, you know, he's done terrific. But in my opinion, Spirit and Louis, Stair and Marathon Dog of the Year, he's not Greyhound of the Year. Greyhound of the Year is the dog which everyone tries to breed and tries to own. It's the one with the speed, and he's the boy with the speed. I mean, I don't know, there's 26 votes. You stand the 2 dogs together and ask the 26 people to take one home. I think they'll take our boy home, like, you know.
And the Greyhound of the Year will be announced at the BGRB Awards, held at the Royal Lancaster Hotel, London, on Sunday, January the 20th. Opens this Saturday at Hull, Swindon and Monmore, while on Monday the highlight is the first round of the Tony Williams Coronation Cup at Romford, plus there are other opens at Nottingham and Crayford. On Tuesday, Hall Green stages the semi-finals of the Bet Direct Prestige, while Harlow's open race programme continues on Wednesday. For all the latest news, visit our website, thedogs.co.uk. Next week we are live from Hall Green and the Prestige final.
The Dogs, in association with the British Greyhound Racing Board.